So for Hotel California, what we're going to do is we're going to improvise with chord tones. Okay. The first chord, we're going to choose the third from the chord. And then for the second chord, we're going to choose the third from the chord, for example. So we're going to just pick out the certain chord tones systematically. So the first one is the third, and then the third again. So this is really like an exercise. And then the third. Alright, and you do that through the whole progression. Alright, and then you're going to do the same thing, but with the fifth of each chord. Alright, and then you're going to do the same thing with the root of each chord. And then what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to do the neighbors of each of those. So you're going to do the third, the lower neighbor, and the third again. And for this song, what we're going to do is all of the lower neighbors are going to be chromatic, so they're going to be a semitone away. All of the upper neighbors are going to be diatonic, so they're going to be one step higher in the scale. And for the fifth, one step higher in the scale is G. The scale is. So we're going to do the third neighbor. Okay. Again, you go through the progression like that, and then you do the same thing with the fifth. And then you're going to do the same thing with the root. And then you're going to do the same thing, but with the upper neighbor. So that's going to be diatonic part of the scale. So the third, and third. Okay. And then after that, you're going to, you're going to do the third, you're going to do the fifth, and the root with the upper neighbor as well. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do accented neighbors. So it's really important that you're going to play the neighbor tone before, and then you're going to play the note. So let's do the lower neighbor for the third. So you're going to start with the neighbor and then resolve to the chord tone. And you're going to do that with the third, with the fifth, and with the root, and with the upper and the lower neighbors. So that'd be with the third. Right, or if we did it with the fifth. Right. Okay, good. So the upper neighbors are diatonic, they're part of the scale. And the lower neighbors are going to be chromatic all the time, okay? Good, and that's with those chord tones. And then what you want to do is you want to do the double neighbor. So we'll go through the whole thing with the double neighbor. So we're going to play the lower, upper, and then the note, all right? So this is with the third. And now we're going to do like accented, which would be like. Okay, we could do upper and then lower. Alright. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go through one time and we're going to try to combine all of those things and choose a different chord tone for each chord. So let's say we start with the third. We do some neighbors, and then we do the fifth, and the fifth again, the third, And then we're going to try to make the whole thing a little bit smoother, all right, and a little bit more like an actual improv. So we're going to follow our ears a little bit more and make it more like a melody. Okay, so I want you to practice that a little bit. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to choose a small range, okay? So we're going to take like 5 notes. We're going to try to play the same thing, but in that small range. So it's going to be a very meandering melody. I went to the 7th here, but okay. Okay. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a little question and answer. So we're going to have this is going to be kind of our question, and this is going to be our answer, or a call and response, maybe more so. So we're going to do a little call in this range. It's very hard to play with the cards on. And so on and so forth with that kind of call and response. And then eventually the final step would be some free improvising. Alright, so make sure you go through those steps one at a time and slowly build up to that level of free improvising. And make sure you can locate those chord tones. You can make smooth melodies between the chord tones before you start improvising in the free way. Alright, so make sure you can make really nice connections from one chord tone to the next. And that's the most important thing. And then later the decorations and the neighbor tones, trying to approach that systematically, one variation at a time. So chromatic below, or diatonic above, or the double. So each of those one at a time, systematically, and eventually you'll start to reach that level of being able to improvise a little bit more freely with that stuff.